Like Jim Harbaugh said, you play, you coach, you die. Well, I could never play. I'm like a short Jew. I could never coach because I'm too stupid and I'm too emotional, but I will die.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience. Waste Management Phoenix Open, the People's Open. We're here. We're going to make some bets. We're going to make some one and dones, and we're going to recap what happened last week. You good people out there, smash the like button to the episode, sub to Mayo Media Network, and please subscribe to the audio podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and turn on them auto downloads. All right, I won my third GPP on DraftKings in 4 weeks, thanks to the brand new Fantasy National tool. So now's a good time to get in. 20% off, fantasynational.com/Mayo. There's a brand new one and done planner at the very top, as well as a brand new feature for Fantasy National members. So if you're trying to map out your selections throughout the course of the year, you can now see which players have committed to tournaments, either by them or by the tournaments themselves. Obviously, we don't have full commitments 3 months down the line, but if a player has committed to that tournament, you will be able to see it in the planner in real time. All right, so go check that out at fantasynational.com/Mayo. The Listeners League for DraftKings, not yet available. I will add it to the video of this video when that's out. The research show came out yesterday. My interview with Michael Kim dropped on Friday, so please go check all of those out if you're looking for something to watch or listen to. Geoff Fienberg on the line with me. He bet Wyndham Clark plus 190 to win at Pebble Beach after the third round, and then I saw him crying to sportsbooks that they didn't pay him.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare put that on me. Not in a million years. These people, they're Karen. You're Karen. If you bet Wyndham Clark at 8 p.m. on Saturday night, on Saturday night, and then we're asking for your money. Like I can't stand you. I can't stand you. Like, get out of here. You don't belong here. You know, like you that's such low rent. That's such low rent. If you caught it in before the buzzer, you beat the buzzer. But to think that they deserve to pay you, these people, like, what's the matter with these people? No. That's one of the most embarrassing discourses I think I've ever seen, where people thinking they should have gotten paid for that.
I was surprised that people thought they were going to get paid for it. That was the surprising part, because like at the time, like in the terms and conditions, like you knew that if they didn't hit another shot, like all bets were void if they were made after the round concluded. Like that seemed pretty easy to me.
You're literally like a guy who made a live bet when Damar Hamlin was lying there dead. Like, was there a score in that game? Like, let's say Cincy was winning by a touchdown and you bet Cincy and you're like, why didn't they pay me?
Well, there is a difference in that, because that game was canceled. It was like it never happened. This did happen. Wyndham Clark won the tournament. It was just shortened to 54 holes. They just never played another shot after that.
Fine. That's just real low. That's low form. Shout out that, like, I was airborne. I was in the air. I don't know that I wasn't as fully aware about the weather. I mean, like, we spoke about the weather all week, so knew Sunday was going to be shit. But I just figured they always work their magic until, I guess, Sunday afternoon, where it'd be like, there's no magic, because it turned into almost like the Bills playoff game being canceled. Like, once the government gets involved, you're not special. They can't allow, like, the players to drive into the building, but no one else can use a road. Like, right? Like, it just came to that logistics. We could argue about they should have had the foresight, because we talked about it a week ago, as did anyone with eyeballs, that maybe they should have tried to play 36 on Saturday. But they probably felt there's no way they'd get 36 in, and then they'd be left with a unofficial leader. Maybe I don't know. We could argue about their communication, but the most embarrassing communication of the week are people thinking they deserve to be paid when you miss the fucking buzzer.
It's not often that we're not on the side. I'm even on team people begging for refunds all the time. Because why not? Maybe if you're going to get the refund, go for it. It's like winning a bet that you weren't supposed to win. But this one just, it seemed so clear to me that it wasn't going to be paid that it didn't even seem worth an effort. I didn't even bet it because I was like, wow, I don't want to bet on Wyndham Clark at 2-1 if this goes forward. And I know they're not going to pay me if I bet it. So what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And I'm sure even people who bet it had a nervous moment, like who beat the buzzer had a nervous moment like, oh shit, if they play this and that course is a cluster expletive, like no one wants to be holding the one shot leader at 2-1, no matter how many guys were in a couple. And you're right, Pat. Like I see it totally different than refund guy. Like, I don't know. It just sent like you're a different level of you're like, you know how Pat, Cam and Gabe, we all joke like what would have happened when we were younger? You asked for a refund on a bet, a guy that got hurt in the first quarter or something, like what our guy would have looked at us or done or said, might have even taken a finger just for asking. This to me is so much crazier. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, like you, like such low rent. And you're marked, buddy. You are marked. Do not think in their system you are not marked as a loser. Maybe you're actually a loser who gives them money, but they know who they're dealing with for the rest of time. Like you are marked in their system for being that guy. And they'll put up with a lot of shit. They deal with refund guy a lot. Oh boy. Whatever the darkest color, worst marking you could have, it's like getting through the border and you've been caught for like dealing cocaine 12 times. Like you are red flagged. You're red flagged. You're audited. Not like they care that you bet a lot. Just like they know they'll have no patience for you ever going forward.
So let's talk about Pebble Beach a little bit, because the weather thing is, I think that you're right. Because I talked about this on almost every single show last week. Like, how are they going to get this in? Look at the Sunday weather. If the Sunday weather is this bad, they probably can't play on Monday either, because the course is not going to be in any condition to be able to be played on. The problem became, I think, because of the Pro-Am, they couldn't do anything Thursday or Friday because they had to let the Am part of this play out. It's not like you could rush them to play, oh, we're going to play 27 on Thursday and have people like change courses halfway through the day and then try to do the same thing, another 27 on Friday, so we can ensure that we finish it on Saturday. I don't think that was on their radar. And I think that you're right that then maybe when they assessed it, that even like we saw that the rain was coming down on Saturday when everyone was on the course. And they only went out, I think, an hour after sunrise. So even if they had started the hour earlier, they weren't going to get in all 36. And then what are we stuck with? Then it's even worse in a weird way.
And I do believe, like if Ludwig had hit the 6-footer, I think he missed on 15 or 16 or 14. I believe they might have held Clark and Ludwig back for a 2-man Tuesday playoff.
I can see
like
that.
I believe they would have done that, and Wyndham could have made a decision if he wants to go to Phoenix or not. It's a course they all know so well anyway. Apparently it's going to get soaked there too. Yeah, I believe we would have gotten a Tuesday morning one-on-one. I feel like they would have made an exception for that, or it would have been one of those things where they call them back. They like at a future date, and maybe the PGA makes it like a showcase thing, which could be 25 minutes, but who knows? Part of me also thought, Pat, the reason they didn't attempt to get it in is maybe because like there's such high-end suites and tickets, like it's a really high-end event, especially when they added the elevated factor to it, is there could be an insurance aspect to it, and that maybe they can get reimbursed in ways for the sponsorship Sunday pricing tents that they wouldn't have if they tried to finish or actually have finished on Saturday. That's just the sort of place like my mind went, is maybe there was an insurance element to it. I don't think the insurance element played any reason into, like, they would have loved to have finished Monday. I don't doubt that, even if half the people show up. But I think there's so many factors. But the biggest one is, we've seen in sort of situations, you don't get special treatment. That just, You know how, like, I know it's a very rare, like, you're only like, so what? Let's give Pebble power and take Oprah's power. Like, that's the sort of people who live in the region, but you can't prioritize like a sport over the road, like just all efforts being put to the community.
Yeah, school was canceled basically down the coast in California for Monday on Sunday night. That's how bad it was. So I don't begrudge them for not playing, although it did open the door for LIV, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But I do want to finish on Pebble Beach. I saw if I we'll run back the best bet show probably during the Florida swing. Once football is over, I'm back from vacation. Then we'll start doing the best bet show. I had James and Cam on for the best bet show. James did the legwork on this no hole in one bet. It was a winner. It was like an easy winner at plus 140. I was worried that that wouldn't pay because of like some weird rules, but no, it did pay. So if you bet along with James at plus 140, no hole in one based on the breakdown that he provided, shout out to Degenerate 75 on that. You can buy him a beer in Phoenix if you end up going to that. I ended up hitting my best two. Can't lay top 20, Hostler over Højgaard. We had a really good week. The top 10 for Scotty Scheffler, minus 110. I have a show coming out while I'm away that myself and Byron at the Model Maniac ended up shooting about the most profitable markets in golf betting. So if you're interested in, like, listen, outright market, not the most profitable market on the market. What is, weirdly enough, as he found out, are these top 10s and top 20s on the best players because they're not actually priced for the amount that they hit. Like the minus 150 is really good on them, weirdly enough.
I've said it many times, Pat. Like, the true smart bettors aren't betting pre-tournament golf. There's just no edge. There's so much variance. It's just stupid. And sometimes I ask Puzzle, like, you know, they need so much course data to even try to find their edge. But the matchups or whatever, top 10s, it's literally like 3 Saturday college basketball slates in one tournament. Like, the amount of games, and I don't doubt that people smart like James and smarter than I, you can find the markets where the smart people actually bet golf. I like to bet the sweat golf. You know, I like to get the juices flowing. I like to feel like I'm about to watch the Chargers, you know, lose a 3-point game on Sunday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, well,
that's what I like.
You need to prep yourself during the football offseason for when football actually returns, and then that actually just happens every single week. So you're not like going from 0 to 100 right away.
And I'm happy that the books, and it should be 54 holes. You can't control that. I'm happy they paid out the props. Maybe there's some situations where people. But hopefully those.
I didn't see any bet that wasn't paid out at any legitimate book that wasn't made after the conclusion of the third round.
And even people were, you know, saying maybe they wouldn't even pay people who beat the buzzer, like barely, or while those groups were on late, or the last group on 18. And I was pretty confident. Certainly, if you miss the buzzer, you're dead. But there's no, like, that's Super Bowl week. Give these people, you beat the buzzer. Get your money. People don't withdraw on Super Bowl week. Like, you just don't. You just, at least you're not withdrawing on Monday morning. You're like, what's the point? Like, I may as well just like feel out the week and keep this money in here because there probably will be bets I'm going to make, be it on the Super Bowl or golf. So yeah, the books I don't think mind. And here's the thing: if they had to void the Wyndham bets, you know how many monkey live bets get put in their system from the time that tournament starts? Like, people thinking a tournament's over because a guy's got a 2-stroke, a 1-stroke lead, or that elite player is playing really good. Oh shit, it's over. So then they don't get the grease of all the other bets that they hoarded in for the 3 days. Like, yeah, think they did just fine. No one's crying for the books. I am, like many, laughing at the people who don't beat the buzzer and have got their hand out.
I'm just looking back at it. Cam hit both of his plus money specials too. Hostler, full top 20, plus 190. Thigala, full top 30, plus 115. So a good week on the best. It's probably, if we retire the show and only ever do it as a one-off, and we leave it as big winners on the best bet show. I like that though. I just, because we always talk about outrights, and we're always going to talk about outrights. Talking about different markets allows us to talk about different players and stuff that's a bit more sustainable, I think, going forward. Let's talk about Pebble though. I hope they run this back as a signature event next year. year. I really enjoyed the golf that I got to watch. It was nice seeing all the best players in the world play at Pebble Beach. I found it very exciting. I like when they can go out and, there's guys riding the struggle bus. There's guys who are Wyndham Clark and are just going after it and making every single putt. I thought it was super exciting. I really wish... as someone who had money on Justin Thomas, I was just like, man, if he had just not lost 2.5 strokes putting on Saturday, he wins this tournament by 2 strokes. But here we are. That's always a problem when you bet on some guys.
Like you, I loved it. I was out of town. I didn't see as much as I wanted, but every time I tuned in, it seemed lovely. Watching great players play Pebble Beach is fantastic. I wish more great players were there. That's a different conversation. But I would if they pebbled, elevated, because we've seen the talent drain that sort of happened on it, that would suck. And I'm honestly shocked that some names are at Phoenix. And we'll get to the other thing where I kind of miscalculated big time on, I got a couple nice futures, but I miscalculated bigly on what I thought that field was actually going to be in this scheduling spot with Riviera next week. But if they want to perma it, that's fine. The problem is it's surrounded by so many big events. There could be like a push and pull, but we got to get the great players to Pebble. That's what the PGA should be about. Like, especially in this time of battle, like the best players go to Pebble.
I agree.
Mandatory.
And Phoenix doesn't need a signature status to be a great tournament where great players come up and show up. We even saw that with Torrey. It's like the leaderboard didn't end up that way, but there was a lot of good players at Torrey Pines. They didn't need a signature spot. Pebble did, based on what we have seen over the years, as that was the one that everyone decided to skip, that this was really nice to go for it. It would have been even nicer for me if on Thursday Xander didn't put 2 in the water on 18. That basically crippled his week.
Good. Jeez. I don't have like the specific moments to recount for many players from the last week. That sucks. I know the positions Cantley has been after the first round of events this year. You always think he has it, but he seems to never have it. I don't remember what Pebble.
So I have a few notes. I have Brady's sweater was ridiculous. Playing with
That's an intense cardigan. That's next level cardigan. As a Cardi season guy, I'm for a cardigan, but bro, those buttons almost as offensive as people asking for post buzzer Wyndham Clark money.
They, for whatever reason, walking down, the coverage on Saturday was really bizarre. Now, it's a huge upgrade on Saturday coverage at Pebble because historically, Saturday at Pebble is the single worst round to watch on TV every single year. Now, with no amateurs or celebrities, it was actually quite palatable. But they just made some very unique choices. One was because Matt Kuchar and Højgaard were playing with Wyndham Clark, we just got an awful lot of Matt Kuchar shots for no reason. I was like, oh, Matt Kuchar's in the middle on this par 5. They cut to him. I was like, he must put it to a foot for eagle, or he makes an albatross or something. It's like, no, he's just laying up to 100 yards. Like, that's a really bizarre choice. And we're not showing Justin Thomas at all, who's a shot back, but we're going to show some Matt Kuchar layups because he's playing in this group. I thought that was really strange. There was a point where they cut to a quad box. A quad box. This is all we've really ever wanted. But was it like 4 guys hitting shots at the same time? No. What it was on 17, when everyone was walking. After they had all hit their shots, they were all walking with umbrellas towards the green, 3 individuals in 3 of the boxes, and the 4th one was just a wide shot of all of them walking. I was like, all right, so we know you have the technology to do this. We know it's in the system. You have the chyrons made, but this is how you were choosing to execute it? Bizarre choice. And then I know he was playing with Wyndham Clark, and Wyndham Clark was on, this historic run. Could he shoot 59? And he was already on the green. But Højgaard put one into the stands on, I believe it was 14, the second to last par 5. And they must have spent 15 minutes with him trying to get this drop down. It's like, who cares? Like, Højgaard is out of it. Like, just show me where he hit the ball. It's like, oh, it's in the stands. We can cut back in 15 minutes to see where he dropped it. Like, we don't need the entire discussion on this. There are other players on the course playing golf right now that, are within a shot of the lead, 2 shots of the lead. It would be nice just to have a reference of how they're doing. So not a great grade on CBS for their coverage on Saturday, but again, markedly improved on what we normally see on Sunday or on Saturday at Pebble Beach. And again, once they actually started showing a lot of the shots, it was a lot nicer. So I really hope they run it back as a signature event. And shout out to Wyndham Clark. That's 2 signature event wins and a major win in the past, 10 months?
Less than 10 months, and both of them at over 80 to 1 or 80 to 1 pre-tournament. So credit to him. That was awesome.
Yeah, and for all the people who are like mad that they didn't get paid on their 2 to 1 after the round was complete, there was a lot of people who hit Wyndham Clark at like 100 to 1. And I don't know if it goes another day that Wyndham Clark wins this tournament. So sometimes you got to take the good with the bad on that.
Absolutely. My buddy hit it at 300 to 1 on Friday night.
Oh yeah, tell this. This is great.
My buddy's in an Uber on the way to the NHL skills competition. He's just like, he loves to throw some grenades. He put $30 or $35. It won 10.5K. The funny thing, like, honestly, he's probably, part of him is probably like $30, probably one of his like smaller bets, but still, just in an Uber on the way to the NHL skills competition. He spent a lot of that night complaining about how pathetic the skills competition was. And then I joked with him how that night's turned into a great memory. And we started yucking. And next thing he showed me, he re-tipped his Uber driver.
That's quite
He went
nice.
back into that Friday night Uber card and like, went quad box for the guy. So that was pretty jokes. I giggled. At least I think he did. Maybe he just showed me the picture, but this guy, believe him. But yeah, grenade Friday night. And he does that. Like, he's like, obviously you don't think you're getting to the leader, but it's just like, he's 300 to 1. Have a good day. Get me 3 or 4 back into the final round. Like, no one bets that thinking Buddy's going to flirt with a 59. It's just like, give me this. Let me like my position going into Sunday night. Not let me be cheering for, public health standards, I guess, to be put into place, which was pretty fun. So yeah, 300 would have been the number on Friday night. And I'm sure even once he got moving on Saturday, there was the hundreds. So credit to anybody. Honestly, credit to anybody. Even if you got in at like 6 or 4, I'll give props to if you beat the buzzer. If you saw Ludwig, lagging a putt on that final green, and you're like buying into the weather, that sometimes weather can be fear-mongering, Pat. So good times. The funny thing is, I thought next time this happens, where we're scared of this situation, and that final group is on 18, feel like people are going to be hammering, and then they're going to play golf the next day.
Oh, 100%.
Because that's what happens like 98% of the time is they always just find not even the next day, but they actually finish the tournament. But yeah, this was, they got. Congrats to Wyndham. What a monster. Lots of people bet it. Like lots of our friends out there. You and I don't believe so, but lots of our friends, at least you hit your GPPs. I know Sky had Ludwig and Wyndham.
Yeah, that's huge. He had 1 and 2.
And Jamie, dude. Oh, Worsley hit the
Fratelli.
double.
Yeah, he hit Fratelli and Wyndham Clark. That's a week.
That is that's a season. Oh my God. How do you even?
The only thing that I'll ever have close to that was the year that Hadwin won Valspar, because I hit Garrigus at triple digits, first round leader. Now, was it Garrigus? Now I can't even remember who it was. I think it was Garrigus. It was someone like that. No, it wasn't fucking Gary. Jim Herman, first round leader at triple digits, Hadwin at triple digits to win, and SSP Teresia to win the Indian Open at 80 to 1. I was like, this is the greatest week I'm ever going to have. It's never going to happen again. Spoiler alert, hasn't happened again. I've tried.
Yeah, so there's a lot of money like flowing amongst our internet friends, Pat, in the community. There's a lot out there. It's Super Bowl week. Doesn't mean go 10 times. Zola will give you the lesson tomorrow or later in the week.
If you do that, you should go to Schwank Grills. They are sponsoring the show now. SchwankGrills.com. Use code Super Bowl 2024. You purchase a Schwank 1500-degree grill, get a free grill cover, a pizza stone, and a pizza peel. I looked at these things. They can cook steaks in it uses infrared light. Cook steaks in 3 minutes. It looks amazing.
Those things do look so cool. I've rabbit holed them on YouTube before.
Yeah,
those grills.
Yeah. They're not.
I'm not really a grill man, so I would probably still screw it up. But most people, won't turn their hamburgers into hockey pucks.
Agreed. Let's talk LIV, because this couldn't have worked out better for the LIV Tour. You get Wyndham Clark getting a signature win in a 54-hole event and gets Boku official world golf ranking points in a no-cut event with 80 people. The LIV guys don't get any points, so now they can just kind of point to that. That's another thing that the LIV players can point to. And
Neiman went backwards in world rankings.
Well, then, listen, I have sympathy for him because I want to see some of these LIV guys in the majors that aren't currently qualified, but I also have no sympathy for them knowing that they took the bag to go to a tour that didn't have world ranking points and just assumed it would be fixed, and it hasn't been fixed, and they're getting fucked because of it. But they knew that going into it, so I don't see what you can really complain about here. If it's really that big of a deal for you, go play on the Asian Tour, go play on the DP World Tour where you can, and go build your points up. That's the only path that you have if you're not qualified. Go to the U.S. Open qualifier. Go to the Open Championship qualifiers. Don't sit there and win a LIV event that complain, knowing that that's not how it works.
We said this sort of from go, as much as, we've been fair, and people think I'm so unfair, but I've been very flexible and open and changing opinions on LIV over time. From go, seeing him leave made me as sad as anybody because of that. Because to me, the way he long and straight, he would win PGA Championship, US Open. The way he puts it on an arrow. 2 years ago, he probably have cut up of me saying I'd sign a 10-year to bet him at the PGA Championship contract right now with the sports book if they wanted to make a deal with me. Would have done it. I guess I'm kind of happy I didn't, because I'd probably still be held to that. He didn't have them, and that's why.
Complain. You'll get your money back.
No. Well, I did it, but I swear to you, I would have done it. And not to win one in the next 10 years. I want each year at that set price of those 80 to 1s that they have, and they still have. If you could, God willing, get in those tournaments. Yeah, that's what made it a tougher pill to swallow than some of the more proven players, because this guy to me has major champion written all over him, and he didn't. That they knew it. They took the bag. That was an open thing that they got paid off for the potential of that not happening. It's unfortunate. I agree that it's polarizing at the moment, and hopefully it does get fixed. I don't know what's right, but going backwards in the world rankings isn't what's right. Hopefully,
how are you not supposed to go backwards in the world rankings if you're not getting any points?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, it's polarizing to win and go backwards. That's all. As you said, Wyndham played 54 holes. He's to 6th in the world this morning. The other guy played 54 holes. He's going backwards. That's all. It's just it's very polarizing. Sometimes you need things that are so in your face, kind of, that it can prompt the shift. I don't know that it does. Hopefully Neiman does want to tee it up a little in those world ranking events that we've seen other guys do it. I mentioned I was entertained. I watched the last hour. I was out with my kids. I came home. I watched the last hour. I don't know what that speaks to, in the sense that I would watch a Corn Ferry playoff. If I came home and the ladies were in a playoff, I would play. Obviously, I love Neiman. I've always been a Sergio Defender fan, and I enjoyed it. Does that mean I'll want to tune in for something that isn't the conclusion of an event? I don't know. If I got a good bet on it, yeah, I guess I would. But hopefully it worked out for them. I don't know what the numbers are. I wouldn't like a Pebble replay is still pretty hard to beat if not every golf fan even knows you're holding an event.
That's the critical part right there. Did people know that LIV? Because you set your parents up to watch it via YouTube. If you hadn't done that, would they have been able to find it?
Not a chance. My dad would not have known it was happening. But I got over there, came over there with my kids for dinner, and he didn't know, but I knew he would enjoy that. He would enjoy that. So, use the YouTube app on the TV and put it on. And I sent him a picture of like my parents, like very much watching like into the action, Sergio lining up a putt in the playoff. My parents love golf. They would watch that. But they just, like I said, the schedule is scattered. You're not sure when it's on, and when it's on, they couldn't access it via their TV remote, at least in Canada. And I promise you, my dad doesn't have like a low rent cable package. So I don't know what that is. Right? It doesn't have, I've mentioned it many times and it's probably annoying repeating, but the PGA, it's just like it's mentally like ingrained. It's like they know they can click to it. It's on Saturday and Sunday because they play every week. We make fun of the fact they play every week. I guess that is part of like the reason it can hold. The consistency of it works perfectly for so many people. They just know it's on.
Of course. And when you're dealing with a demographic that is, let's be real here, let's be generous and say 55 plus, so much of your life at that point is about routine and what you're used to, that if it's not on Saturday, you're like, what the hell is going on? Like, where's the golf?
But golf fans don't want to turn off. If a golf fan knows Rahm, Sergio, Neiman are battling for a tournament, they want to watch it like they do. And you put it on, and even my mom's like, I like those hats, I like those shirts. So like, I don't know.
So
who knows?
Just to recap what happened, it was a battle down the stretch. Do you think that, I mean, I didn't really dig deep into this Neiman penalty that he was assessed overnight. I mean, shout out to him. He shot 59 in the opening round. I don't care where you shoot 59. That's a fucking incredible score and an incredible round. But he was assessed a 2-stroke penalty overnight on Saturday. It almost felt like they were just trying to make things tight because they knew more people would be watching.
So that's very interesting. I don't know who sees that penalty to call it for it to happen the next morning. Now that they're in the team segments, Pat, it's almost like I'm sure there's people looking at things in a different way, but I couldn't help myself but make the joke to think that they're just Slugger White is trolling the PGA, calling this drop here because I don't know if it's illegal or not. I know it's certainly illegal around the green. Like, it's certainly illegal around the green. When you're up on that collar and you like literally walk behind your ball and you like literally put all your weight on that foot so I can get that clean putting stroke, that is absolutely illegal. I would have thought.
I do that, by the way, when I'm playing rounds.
Yeah, but I'm just like playing. Like,
yeah,
I'm not like, I never do that in anything official. And if, or actually playing for money, but I don't really ever do that anyway. Just let me not make a triple bogey and get out of there, people. Like, fuck off. Where were we? Oh yeah. Like, how is that not, isn't that a penalty? I guess it's not a penalty.
I thought, like, I have a whole list of things that I both enjoyed and didn't enjoy from the LIV broadcast. But one thing I noticed, because Rahm put it into the jungle on 17, he just kind of like roped it left out of bounds. He went bogey to end up losing this tournament. This was Jon Rahm's to win. He was playing the best kind of coming down the stretch. He had got himself back into it with a birdie barrage to finish his front nine. It was like, all right, Rahm's just going to run away with this. And then he puts it and he has to take a penalty. I thought that one thing that LIV could do, because, listen, they're playing by their own rules. That's part of the problem when it comes to the official world golf rankings, that if you're going to do that, I don't really care about marshals or anything. Just have like one rule person who just says, like, yeah, it's a penalty. You got to drop it there. My rule is final. Just move on with it, because these drops just, they take so long. And I get it. There's a lot of money on the line. But at LIV at the same time, everyone's already paid. So like, let's speed it up a little bit.
Yeah, and Rory's drop, I could tell, was definitely like sneaky, right? Like, that seems sneaky. He was taking a line that he didn't have. Neiman's drop seemed like way more like what I don't know. You can't just do what anyone would do. They have to follow their specific rule. But you can just mat the thick grass before a drop. I didn't know you could do that, and that's legal, but I think it is.
Sure.
So good for, like, you got to know the rules. You'd be an idiot to not do that and just drop the ball into that hay. So got to give credit. Like, he obviously knew the rules. I assume a lot of guys would know the rule. But that was like a foot stomp.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
and
if Patrick Reed did that, people be losing their minds.
that's true. Or if if it was Sergio who had done it, people would lose their minds. Or Poulter. Or if it was just a player that people don't like.
Yeah, like if Cantley did it, people would be losing their minds. If Cantley did it and I didn't have a bet on him, I'd be like, I feel like there was something else. Oh, quickly, like just on the LIV, Pat. What sort of fucking hubris, though, do they must have to play in Vegas on Super Bowl week? Like to go against the Super Bowl, to go against Phoenix, which is like got a reputation almost as good as anything in golf from a viewing standpoint. Like that, doesn't that seem insane?
I thought it was weird scheduling, but maybe they want to try to ingrain themselves into all of the. I don't know if this is going to be a stop every year for LIV in Vegas at this time, but because the Super Bowl is in Vegas, maybe that's something that they want to plan on doing. That they will host an event if it's somewhere in the South, in conjunction with the Super Bowl. Like, that does make some sense to me. And maybe the players are like, hey, we want to go to the Super Bowl, so have a tournament there. It could work.
Sure, but if the players want to go to the Super Bowl, because again, a lot of players can't go to the Super Bowl because Phoenix is every year on Super Bowl Sunday. I'm one of these losers that can't like book a trip in advance to Phoenix for Super Bowl Sunday because I am weak and I like will not. That week is reserved in case I have to go because in case I'm blessed, but no one cares about that. It's just crazy. Then just go to the Super. Like, if you want to just go to the Super Bowl, then tell LIV Golf you don't want to play this week. The only thing I can think of, if it makes sense, is if you literally see like Hatton, Rahm, Brooks like trotted through Radio Row, right? Like we see somehow like Hatton's sitting down with Morency this week.
That'd be cool.
And like doing that car wash. I don't know if that's possible. I think they'd be so stupid to not take their guys and put them through that car wash, because you are right. Like, sort of become a side story, but part of Super Bowl stories in some weird way. I joked on Twitter this morning that if you're betting LIV Golf, like, I bet losers, like boring nerd losers. You think Brooks is going to miss a party this week? Paulina and DJ? What the fuck? No chance. No chance. John Rahm, he's going to be VIPing it up with his boy JJ Watt. Isn't CBS doing the game? Like, I would be, who you think no one likes, has no friends, doesn't like to go out. That is who I would be looking to bet in LIV. Yeah, so maybe Bryson.
Yeah, Bryson. I think Bryson lives in Vegas too, so he's just used to the elevation changes, everything like that. I want to go back to Mexico for a second. I just want to go back to Mexico for a second because Sergio had an amazing day. Did you jump in on the Sergio to win the Masters futures? Like I saw a lot of people doing. I wasn't quite there with that.
No. I would be way more into what majors is Neiman in?
None.
Yeah. Said it. He's 100-1 to win the U.S. Open. He's 80-1 to win the PGA. I'm not one of these guys that is just like, oh, your guy won in January, February. He's like, good for major season. No. But if Neiman actually gets in those events, those would be tickets. Those would be tickets. But I don't know that he's even making an effort to get in them because last year he made none.
Yeah, I think that there should be some sort of concession with the majors. We talked about this during the offseason show, that there should at least be a LIV pool of players that you can, like, you play so well on LIV, like the top 10 from LIV at the time of a major or the week before, they get into the majors. I think that should most definitely be a thing for all the majors because we want, Like that's the whole point of the majors now. Like the majors should be embracing that. Like there's only 4 times a year you can see all of these guys play against each other. You'd want to embrace that, but I guess they just don't care at this point, or they haven't thought that far ahead, or they think this merger is going to be going through before the start of the Masters, even with all the investment that we saw last week from the strategic sports partnership or whatever that was. It doesn't seem like the LIV stuff is still off the table. But I want to keep talking about Mexico and the broadcast itself. It was cool to see Sergio back in. It was weird to see Rom finish. Rom was a bit out of his element, it felt like, in that final round. Like, because the worst part of the broadcast by far is when you hear the music playing in the background. I know some people don't mind it. I can't stand it when people play music on the course when I'm playing with them, but I bite my lip. Listen, we're just out having a casual round. I just don't like it. It's so weird to hear it on a PGA or on a LIV broadcast, like for a competitive tournament. The music makes it feel like an exhibition. It kills the stakes and seriousness of a tournament. And that's something that LIV has the biggest problem with anyways. People taking it seriously, that the people really do care about this and that there's real stakes at play and people really do want to win. And I know that they do, obviously, but when you just start hearing like techno music in the background, you're like, the fuck is this? And it felt like at one point, because the music went away with like 5 or 6 holes left, I think John Rahm turned to someone and was like, kill it with this fucking music. It's fucking pissing me off.
It certainly straddles the line on many elements. Sure, yeah, it's every week feels like the century, I guess.
Yeah, that is the perfect point. That like the lack of stakes at the top, and then it feels like a warm up in a weird way. And I don't know if that has to do with just my perception of players wearing shorts or whatever it is. Listen, I hope they wear shorts on the PGA Tour, and that becomes normalized because it seems insane to have to wear pants in like 111-degree weather sometimes. But it's the music. The music just takes me out of it. The other problem with the shotgun start, I like the shotgun start because you can compress everything in, and it worked out really well because I believe they hold the last group. So the final 2 groups play through and they all finish on 18. I think that's super sharp. But once you start getting players from like other parts of the course and they're heating up and you cut to them, you lose your sense of mapping on the course. Like you never get a good sense of like what holes come together because you're only really seeing the leaders and a few scatter shots of other people. That one of the reasons that I like the early coverage of the PGA Tour is that you get your rabbit group, that you get to relearn the course as they play it. So when like the leaders come through, like the final 9-12 guys, you're like, all right, this hole, then this hole, then this hole. Like this is an easy stretch. This is a hard stretch. I feel like LIV loses that a little bit. At least just based on what I saw on Sunday. It's not like it's the first time that I've sat down and watched LIV, but it was probably the most extensive I've watched LIV so far.
And I would feel a lot of people were in your boat because there was no competing anything really. I mean, from a golf standpoint, and certainly the other big thing like a football standpoint, people probably did watch more golf or watched it in a longer extended chunk than they ever had. I could agree with a lot of that. I still like, there's still many things of the broadcast that bother me, but I would agree that there's a disjointed feeling to watching the event. It can be really confusing. There seems like there's a lot coming at you, but at the same time, nothing is really coming at you. I didn't think they had the yardages when I was watching the playoff. Like I didn't see them.
I saw them.
And
they were there.
And someone's like, no, they're up on the left, like under because they have the full leaderboard. Like, I guess I'm just looking like, why isn't the yardage like running across the bottom or something, or in a more contained area? But no, they just have it in this like 18 thing super box. So next time I'll know. Next time when I'm looking for the yardage, I'll know where to see it. But it can be very confusing. And I know I'm not like so old, but I got some like old man tendencies, certainly not like Tim or anything like that. But I could see how it can be very difficult to really keep along with. And I think the hardcores or the true defenders are gonna like tell us we're like they're gonna like bite back on that, I feel. But no, I will die on the hill of the shotgun start for all its benefits. It's an incredibly disjointed watch, especially if you're just tuning in on Sunday to watch the last 2 hours of a golf tournament, like most people really just do, even if it is the PGA.
Paul, you had something to say? Because you watched too.
Oh, I only watched the playoff, like noted Liv fan Tim Andercust, who literally only watched the playoff. It tells you to watch Liv all the time. He's a filthy casual.
He is a cat. That we found out yesterday, didn't we, Jeff? Casual Liv fan Tim Andercust, yet won't stop talking about Liv.
Yeah, and then we even had to explain things to him. We're like, why aren't you watching? And he's like, oh, I'm not home. I don't want to waste my Wi-Fi. And like, what on earth? Like, I don't think Tim has an extended burn of Wi-Fi. That the way he talks about Liv, you think he would lend some of his Wi-Fi or more of his Wi-Fi to it.
No, his data plan. He's like, well, I didn't know how much.
Oh yeah, sorry.
He doesn't know how much data he has on his phone for a month. He's like, I didn't want to wait. It just sounded like a series of excuses not to watch it.
But I also thought, like, what was the most fun? The absolute best part, Pat, unequivocally, not even close, is when it is so dark and they're going back and forth, should we play? And the people who are there, you know, enjoying themselves deep into the day, like, they start cheering, like, play, play, play. And then they decide to play and the crowd erupts and everyone at home is like, yeah, they're going to play one more. Like, you can't top that. I'm sorry. Even, like, I'm sure the PGA's gotten that sometimes too. But nothing is, not to say, like, if Sergio or Neiman didn't want to play, they weren't playing. Sergio's not getting pressured by cheering drunk Mexicans. Like, no chance. He'd flip them the bird before he would feel an ounce of peer pressure. And obviously he's like he probably made the call there because Neiman would probably do whatever Sergio wanted. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Sergio
joining Liv.
Sergio didn't even warm up for the playoff. He was just like Neiman did to us that time at the Century when he didn't warm up and then lost in the playoff.
Yeah, me and you were sitting there like, does he have Sergio's bank account? Like, should he? You're not Sergio, buddy. You can't just be this laissez-faire before. You can't just be like watching your friends' wives drink Mai Tais before the playoffs. That's a funny memory.
Before I get into what I liked about the broadcast, one more thing that I didn't like. I don't like their leaderboard. I think it's close to being good, but I don't understand why it's transparent, for one thing. And why it's not all the way to the left. Maybe that has to do with an aspect ratio of having it both online and TV. I'm not quite sure, but I find it really strange. I don't think, and hear me out on this, the position that they have for show like first and second, it's a really big box. And then you have the team logo, which you can't really make out, but it takes out a big part of the leaderboard anyway. And then they abbreviate people's names. And once I stare at it long enough, it took me like 5 minutes to figure out that it was Mito Pereira, who was on the leaderboard at one point when I was watching on Friday. I was like, who the fuck is who is Perrier? I was like, is it just they shrink Dustin Johnson's name, Johnson, doesn't fit onto the leaderboard. Like, shrink out that other part and just let me be able to see the names. Like, that's a critical part. Like, I need to know who I'm watching here, where people are. So I just thought that was just really, really strange. So you can shrink down those two parts of the left and make it bigger on that part, and then move the entire thing to the left, and then not make it non-transparent. Then put your aspect ratio into the conforming part of it. So I didn't like that part, but the leaderboard itself, I think, is better than the PGA one. If it was done, it's close to being the best one. So I like that. And just every time they got to the tee box where they showed kind of the spray chart, I know the PGA does it a little bit, but this was much better of red if you go right, green if you go center, slight green, and here are the scoring averages if you miss to the left, right, and hit it in the fairway. I thought that was awesome.
A lot of really good things. And I think you nailed it. Like, that leaderboard has the potential. Like, its ceiling is enormous. I agree. But there are the changes I would make. It does, again, feel disjointed like some other things. I would also give Liv, I actually have more confidence in Liv that they would make these changes and make them on the fly and make them quickly. I don't want to sound like an apologist, but they still have to get their bearings in on a lot of things, certainly. So I actually have more confidence that they would make switches. Two things that you might have a comment on both. The putting line thing, you can't fucking have that when the putt is going. Like,
it sucks.
I don't know. Yeah. It's so annoying. I get, like, it has a purpose. but you can overuse it, and I think they are. But again, I think they'll feel it all out. I think that's really annoying, in my opinion. I did not enjoy that once the ball is off. And
but you're right about this though, that LIV can take these shots right now and try out different things, and they can scrap them or change them on the fly. Like that's a part of being a brand new tour and a brand new television product and a brand new company. So I appreciate that they're actually trying out new things. I really like that.
Yeah, and as someone showed me a complaint or making fun of the LIV broadcast, showed me these other things that they used to do, like in these still images. And people were like, oh, we don't see those anymore. So it's like, oh, those were really stupid. They had no bearing. They got rid of them, I guess. Like people haven't seen that or didn't see it this week. Yeah, I would also say now, Pat, I'll be honest. Like I said, every week feels like the Century, which is not a bad thing because the Century can run out the names and it's an enjoyable watch. The team thing is so fucking gimmick to me.
So
like I'm having a real hard time. I would like it so much more. And I know maybe they're not needing to cater to me, or they already technically have me because I'm in the Gulf orbit. When they do put on a good event, I'll be there for them. The team thing, like the field is strong enough where I don't think they need the team thing. And I think that they make it like it's so important. They like talk out of both sides of their mouth with it as well. It's important when it needs to be. It's not important when it doesn't. I don't know. To me, it'll never not be gimmick with the team thing.
I can tell you who didn't give a shit about the team thing when they interviewed him after he went bogey to finish was John Rahm. It's like, oh, you won the team event. He's like, yeah,
doing the champagne spray. Is happy we win money.
But but they interviewed him the moment he walked off the 18th hole, and he was fucking furious, and you could see it because they talked to him about the music, and he had to bite his lip and say how much he enjoyed it. Then they started talking about the team thing, and you could see he was about to lose it. Then the gears started working in his mind. He's like, oh yeah, it was great that they were able to make the birdies and we won the money, like, and all this. But he was just so fucking pissed from not winning the tournament, which I enjoy.
And the best thing they can do is keep him and Hatton mic'd up and let me hear the F-bombs and let me just hear it. Like they want to win over golf fans. They want to just win over the niche people of the sport. That's how you do it.
Oh,
that's how you do it. Not to say like, like that's how you got to do it. And part of the problem, Pat, is these fucking PGA pampered fucks, like the shit with the players and being mic'd up. They're so goddamn stupid that they don't see the value in it. They're just worried about being caught hot mic'd and doing something embarrassing. But for the most part, they're doing something and the PGA doesn't see that embarrassing moments actually lend to building up the player. Like even if they say something stupid, I don't know. Hold
on. It's different because the PGA has to protect its players, it has to protect its sponsors. We saw, the pampered fucks thing that Patrick Cantlay dropped. Like that would be an example of that's fine. That's just character building stuff. They also caught Justin Thomas saying a word that maybe he shouldn't have said on the putting green as well. So I'm sure that the players want themselves protected in that aspect too. But being mic'd up on LIV, I thought the caddy player conversations were really good, especially in the playoff when it was Neiman talking to his caddy about the ball in the rough and then versus the ball on the fairway, which way the wind direction was coming in. That stuff was fucking fascinating. I loved that stuff. That stuff that the PGA could use more of. And we didn't even really talk about the announcement that LIV about their showing every shot announcement. Now that's not in place and Lord knows if it's ever going to happen. The best thing that could happen to this for us is just they develop the technology and like if they ever merge, then the PGA gets it too.
Yeah. And lots being made of the PGA merger. Or not the merger. They better merge. I know the best players don't always play together, but for me it is simple. I've said it from go. My biggest harp from go was I am a spoiled North American sports fan. My sports don't have like Messi and Ronaldo play against each other. Not just like in the schedule. We're under the same umbrella. Okay, that's my sports. That's the sports I watch. So this all really freaking bothers me, and I'll be bothered until they merge. And I don't care what this deal does for the PGA because I have no faith in them. I have no faith in them. That bitch boy's still in charge at Monahan. You bring on Red Sox, the guy that runs the Red Sox. Go ask any Red Sox fan what he does for fans. What he does for fans. I'm supposed to trust him to take care of golf fans? Fat fucking chance. Would I love to be wrong? I'm wrong a lot. I'd be so happy to be wrong. I would. I don't believe it for a second. Not 1 second. I don't think they'll move fast enough. You know, I got into it a bit with like Tambo, which, you know, is still all love, like any discourse, even if we disagree. I love disagreeing about golf. Like we all just care about the same shit. That it's like short-term pain for long-term gain. Fuck it. That short-term pain is going to be so much longer than you think. It's going to be so much longer than you think. And all I really care about is best on best. And the sponsors have realized they don't need this shit. Honestly, they've realized like this shit is so overvalued. We don't need this shit. We've been fooled. Like the myth of these events to me is over. Like, and I'm a guy, I buy into the myth. I buy into the hyperbole. Bay Hill, Memorial. No, it's all nothing. Like only the fucking majors. Only the fucking majors. Now, that doesn't mean you can't not be entertained by these events. Of course I'm entertained by it. I love seeing players hit golf shots that matter, you know, or even to them personally, even if they're already rich. Like I love seeing great players hit golf shots that matter, even if that is like Lee Hodges. But I don't know. I think we're still in a horrible fucking place.
I think we're coming out of it. I think that we're fine in that regard. But you're a very emotional guy, and it swings from both ends. When it's good, you get too happy. When it's bad, you get too sad. I just like being somewhere directly in the middle. But I think that we
agreed. I am not. Yeah, absolutely. Like example. Like I'd be way. You know, like Jim Harbaugh said, you play, you coach, you die. Well, I could never play. I'm like a short Jew. I could never coach because I'm too stupid and I'm too emotional, but I will die. That I will do.
Let's move to the Waste Management Phoenix Open. What people are really here to, I mean, I'm excited to talk about it. I already did the research show, breaking down the field. News since we started recording, or it happened just before we started recording, that Victor Hovland has withdrawn from the tournament, so he is no longer playing in Phoenix. It's going to be tough. Keep an eye on a lot of guys trying to get from Pebble to Phoenix just because of the current weather situation and the planes not being able to get out for when everyone ends up getting to the tournament in Phoenix. Just keep an eye on that. A few guys like Thorbjorn Olesen WD'd from the alternates list. So there's a bunch of different moving parts in play here. The field won't be finalized for probably another day now as we kind of try to avoid some WDs. I have one bet in so far, and just to kind of give you a refresher. I mean, you're pretty familiar with the tournament. If you want to see the overview and the aerial shots of the course, then, you know, check out the research show. If you are attending the tournament and you're looking for somewhere to lie down, watch some shots, and just have some beers, green on 6, in between the green and the tee box on 7. It's a great hill. You can just kind of like bake in the sun, see a bunch of shots, and there's a beer tent right behind you. The porta potties are there. You need to go smoke a joint. There's like a little forest just over there where everyone was smoking joints. So that's a great spot just to chill out for a while if you are attending the grounds at TPC Scottsdale. It is 7,261 yards, a par 71. One of the most exciting finishes, 15 through 18 on the PGA Tour. Last year was the first time in 9 years, Geoff, that this tournament was not decided by a stroke or a playoff. Scotty won by 2 over Nick Taylor.
Love the tournament. I probably know the course as well as any. Like it is just ingrained now. Like I just love it. The tournament, the finishes have been great. They've been so good that I sort of like embarrass myself in front of my friends' wives because the Super Bowl's in like 12 minutes. It's not usually the people I'm around when fun golf tournaments are ending.
Well, let's go to
Ricky Fowler's dropping balls into the water. But yeah, nothing but great memories. Like those Brooks wins, both of them. Oh my God. Like, oh, that makes me give me the warm and fuzzies. The warm and fuzzies.
Well, we've seen. I talked about it a little bit on the research show in my column in the newsletter, which is completely free to subscribe to. Do that down in the description right now. I'll be releasing it sometime Monday, late afternoon, early evening. Whenever my kids settle down, I can finish writing it. But I was trying to dig into how do we find a winner here, because it's been very name brand winners over the years in Phoenix. A bunch of Players Championship winners have won here. We got Scotty, we got Webb Simpson, we got Ricky. They've all won the Players Championship. We also have a lot of great U.S. Open players who have done well, which doesn't seem to jibe whatsoever, but Scotty's finished inside the top 7 of the U.S. Open the past 3 years. He has won back-to-back years. Hideki has had great performances. And technically, if you talk to fake LIV fan Tim Andercust, he won the Players as well. So there's another correlation that way. But even Brooks, he's won here twice. He's won the U.S. Open twice. Gary Woodland won here. He won the U.S. Open. So there's just a weird line drawn between those. Webb is another one. Yeah, he's won both. He won the Players and
Ricky's always played great at U.S. Opens. Finau's played great at plenty of U.S. Opens. So
Finau has never won this tournament, by the way.
No, sorry, but I've seen guys that have played well had that Webb the Webb playoff. But yeah.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I know Finau never won here. He seemed to have played well here a lot, and he does play well. I guess he plays well a lot of places. At least he used to.
I believe he played here well once.
Oh,
when he lost.
I lost money on it. Yeah. And it went into the Super Bowl, so it's memorable.
Yeah, so basically what you're looking for are great drivers of the ball, but players that can do everything tee to green. Like a lack of a short game will bite you in the ass here. Scheffler did win this one year by losing strokes on approach, but this is the best he's putted anywhere in his career, is at this course. So it'll be very interesting to see if he can keep up the putter, because it's been frigid again, but this is usually kind of where it wakes up every single season. And he is the betting favorite right now at DraftKings Sportsbook. 5-1 is what he is at. Then you got Xander at 11, JT at 12, Homa at 16, Burns and Spieth both at 22-1, Sung Jae at 25. Then you got your boy Min Woo at 30, Fitzy at 30, and JT Poston at 30-1. Those are the top 10 players on the betting board, the only ones 30-1 and below. In full disclosure, I have bet Justin Thomas at 13-1 to win this tournament.
Yeah, so some 13s, some 14s. He'd be the only one down there that I would bet. And when I spoke about the futures market, that DraftKings, props to them, they had up forever. I sort of saw the scheduling spot between Riviera and Pebble and thought maybe some of these guys wouldn't be here. So the bets I'd look to make were more at the back of the pack, like a Sahith, Minwoo. But the big miss, Pat, because of JT's last year, it was 35-1. But I mentioned the last year because he wasn't in the position of like some other good players who I thought weren't going to play. He was probably always going to play. So shout out to anyone. I think that was the best mark. I mean, I will, what Tim does for the players for Hideki, you could tell me Ludwig won, because I'm going to get refunded my biggest golf future ever this week, Pat, assuming they refund. If they don't, we'll see, but I fully expect a refund there. I make big golf futures in the past for like majors and such, but if I'm making a golf future on a major, it's usually a guy like really deep in odds where I don't have to put that much down. So I had a big piece on Ludwig at the 40-1s that they had. And I didn't even think I should bet anyone else because I was certain he would win. But I'm mad I missed the JT 35s. Now it's 13-14. He's the only guy under what's Minwoo?
Minwoo's
he's pretty much the only guy under 20 I would want to bet, and probably the only guy under 30 I would want to bet.
So here's the problem with Minwoo. And he can definitely overcome this by, it's almost like the Luke List problem of, can he putt this week? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he could be in contention. Minwoo can't hit an iron. It's really weird. He is one of the best off the tee players in the world. He has an immaculate short game. He gains strokes putting in every event. But like, if you're just going to consistently lose with your irons, it's going to be tough to win in events. So you need like a break-even week from him or slightly above average, and you might be good to go with Minwoo here. But that does worry me a little bit.
Yeah, I bet Minwoo 80 to 1. Like I said, I have him to win 3
All right,
majors at 80 to 1.
that's great
and
that
the
you have all
tournament.
these futures, Jeff. We're doing a show about this week.
No, I know. I have him now. So I don't know. I don't even know what to would I bet him at 30? I probably not, I guess.
Okay,
probably
that's the
not.
question. Okay, so there's no one outside of and if you don't have a future on Thomas and you're sitting there at 13, like, do you think you would bet him at 13 to 1 or 11 to 1?
Sounds like how deep.
Sounds like no.
I don't want. It seems like everyone has bet him this morning. Everyone's gonna have all this money as the Super Bowl kicks off, and I'll be feeling my dick when I put my hand in my pocket. No money. Scotty's going for the three-peat, right?
Yeah, no one's ever three-peated here. A bunch of back-to-back winners, two-time winners. It's tough to get the three-peat at any tournament. I don't think it's been done on tour since Stricker won 3 consecutive John Deere Classics.
Sounds about right. I feel like someone was questing for a third for something last year. It did not go well.
Burns tried it at Valspar, I think.
Okay, yeah, that would have been the one.
And
I don't hate it. What was it? Oh no, I do hate it. I can bet it. I never bet it, but
yeah.
I mean, Scotty, feel like this. You said this is his happy green place. It's a bet I couldn't make because I wouldn't even want to. Even if I put 200 bucks on it, it wouldn't make me happy. I don't mean it like that. I just mean like that just seems too much effort for the payoff.
Yeah, and 5 to 1 to win any golf tournament in a full field event with 144 players. It's tough, man. Does he really have a 20% chance of winning this tournament? Like, I don't think he does. It might be like 13%, but then it's terrible odds.
I could get sucked into that next tier, but I would expect people will like Spieth this week again. It's a place I feel like he's first round leader here a bit, or maybe tied with Norin. I don't know. Sam Burns is playing really well. Like to see him shooting the scores he's shooting. Although Pat, Sam Burns, 17th hole par 3 on a Saturday. Water trouble. Made a double on Saturday. 2 straight Saturdays. One was a Sunday round, but it was on a Saturday. So he's not liking par 3 17th holes at the moment.
Well, that's good. There's no par 3 17th at Phoenix, so he should be okay.
There's the par 3 in front of it.
There's no water on that hole. It's a stadium
This
hole.
is true. So you're on JT.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, you could still hammer JT, make a couple clips in the middle and be happy. Like,
Yeah, so I guess my question is, because I bet Thomas at 13, that really kind of forces my hand of what I can do this week in terms of where else I can go. I could, if I wanted to take Minwoo or Sungjae or Spieth or whatever, I could make one more big bet on them. Those are my 2 guys, and then I'll ride with it. Maybe I bet someone 200 to 1 for kicks. Or do I bet like 3 guys down the board a little bit? And I think that's what I want to do when we get to this like 30 to 100 range, because these are where the guys I kind of still want to bet Ben Ann at 40 to 1.
wasn't he leading the one for your bachelor party?
Yeah, I had money on him and Louis. They both finished top 5, but could not get the job done because that was the year that, I believe that was the Webb Simpson year.
So they all sort of blur together.
Hideki came back and he ended up winning in a playoff.
But yeah, I like a few of those names in that 30 to, I guess you'd call it into the 60.
We'll call it
into the
30 to
range.
100. I like Thigala. I like Ann. And fuck, I brought up Bhatia on the show, on the research show, and he was 100 to 1 in the future market yesterday. He's down to, the best number I can find on him is 65 to 1. I don't know if I love that as much.
Yeah, I guess he probably was looking good as that. Anyone that did great in the swing season probably got a little hit in the in this market because it was up all swing season. It was the only golf tournament you could bet that wasn't a major.
Yeah, but he was 100 to 1 yesterday when I did the research show. He's 55 to 1 this morning.
Okay, so just on the notion of big drops, apparently Detry was 150. Now he's 80.
That tracks. Shout out Thomas Dietrich for winning me that GPP. Thank you. Him and Wyndham Clark were the 2 keys to it.
And shout out to anyone who day traded him last week.
I'm trying to think of who else.
You don't like you mentioned Sung Jae. Fitz is there at 40.
Fitz at 40 I could do. Fitz at 40, so I go 13, 40, 40, and then someone way down the board. Yeah, 13, 40, 40. Yeah, I can do that.
And I want to ask about a guy, but you know, when you want to go here, it can be hard at the moment. Cam Young looks so good in the Middle East. A little back to go another desert golf. California didn't treat him well. I feel like, did he play the week right after that Middle East trip? Which it's like, man, what are you doing here, buddy? But hey, that's they pay 40th place pays great. This you would think like blindly should be a great spot for him. No.
Well, Cam Young didn't play the week after he came third in the Middle East. He took it off. He played at Pebble and came in 70th of 80 people. I agree it should be a good place for him. It's just I haven't won any money not betting on Cam Young, but I haven't lost any money betting on Cam Young, and that's just the way I'm keeping it right now.
Yeah. Just seems like, well, here's the problem. The holes he's supposed to dominate, sometimes he doesn't dominate, but it does feel like this course sets up for him to really, you know, take advantage of. But hey, he'll be 48 feet from a pin on a par 5 for eagle, and we'll walk off with par.
How about the course horses here? Hideki and Ricky. Decky and Ricky.
Yeah, I could get sucked into Decky. I've seen it, but I've seen what 50 or 60 to 1. I could go through that punishment. I would be willing to try that torture chamber. Because I feel like I could trust him to get it going early and then be in his Phoenix happy place.
Where is Ricky on this betting board? Ricky's he's the same. He's like 50 to 1. You can probably get him as low as like 70 to 1. He had it going through 2 rounds at Pebble and then it just went away.
So let me ask, just between those two in a head-to-head, would you have a preference?
Hideki.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Although I don't feel good about him whatsoever. Like he just had a terrible week at Pebble too, although I wouldn't expect that to be a very good course for him. It was the first time he gained off the tee in ages. Usually he's losing off the tee and gaining everywhere else, but it seems like a pretty deep number on a guy that people... I remember after the back-to-back win, like on DraftKings and the one and done, it didn't matter what it was. It was like, oh, you got to use Hideki. Got to use Hideki. He's going to at least come in first. It's like, no, man. And then he withdrew from the tournament and people lost their minds.
If I'm not, I mean, you could still play JT and bet Hideki at 50 if that's what you like. You could still easily make that party.
I agree. I talked about betting 2 guys at 40 along with a 13. Like I don't have any problems doing that.
I am just saying, like, I could easily see myself succumbing to it and just like taking that leap of faith in Hideki.
So the other course that I looked at, because it's another Tom Weisakoff course, is TPC Craig Ranch. And I guess we'll get into the bombs now because we seem to be very undecided on everything. I'm going to bet Austin Eckroat at 200 to 1. He was top 10 at the U.S. Open last year. He's had a nice finish. He almost won at the Bunny Ranch at the Byron Nelson. I think this might be a nice spot for him. It's not the first time he's played the tournament, which outside of Brooks, most people who show up for the first time don't do super well in these conditions. And that's going to be, I think, my only bomb this week, just with the name brand value. And I'll probably play that with 5 places or 8 places, but I do like Eckroat a little bit.
There was a run where I was all over Eckroat. You've really, I guess that's a byproduct of betting JT. You've really skipped quite a bit. There are some guys I think in front of that do have my attention. I shouldn't say that,
dude, because they actually don't. Because you're like,
well,
I really
Connors at 80 to 1.
When was the last time Corey Connors did anything?
It's been a long time. It's been a really long time, but he's done well here before. Noren, I wish I could get more. There must be like they hold him down, him and Hostler. I just don't want to bet them at these numbers, but I don't mind how either of them are playing. I'm really probably just gonna jam the shit out of that 30 to 40 range.
I can see that. I think that makes a ton of sense. Like Eric Cole still rates out really well. I don't love his 45-1 odds here. You could bet your guy Dietrich and lose money that way again. That seems like a lot of fun.
First round leader.
Bud Colley is playing.
I saw that.
It's his first.
That
it's
doesn't
his
do.
first
I know that
event.
does something for some people. It does nothing for me.
It's his first event since the Fortinet, then the Safeway Open in 2020, on the PGA Tour. He's played twice on the KFT this year.
Okay, it's a bit of a bigger deal, I guess, that he's playing. That's good for him. I'm happy for him.
The other one I was looking at bomb-wise is Tom Hoagie. Just played really well at Pebble. Like sneakily was up there on the leaderboard, and I think he does a lot of like you see these like great tee to green players, and he finished third at the Players Championship last year as well. Like he's someone who, because we've seen this with JT over the years, and then it kind of goes away. But like there are certain hole stretches here where you can shoot like 7 under over the course of 8 holes if you get hot. Hoagie strikes me as one of those guys that can get that hot. We've seen it way too many times with him. Straka is another one who kind of does the same thing. I'd throw those two guys in the same bucket. Straka's probably better overall, but he's also not 100-1 right now.
Yeah, I feel like Hoagie. I mean, I don't know what to make because he's won Pebble, so he's obviously happy there. But 6th place is 6th place. He's having a decent little run. I mean, you wouldn't rather stick on that Taylor Montgomery vortex at 100? Clearly not.
I mean, clearly not, because I mentioned Tom Hoagie and not Taylor Montgomery.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have interest there. Oh, Eckrout, I could get behind.
Okay. I'm just trying to circle back here to the, like I said.
I lost my odds board.
No, well, that's not good. All right, well, let's get to the quick picks then. I'm trying to make this easy for people. Try to find a winner in here. I have JT at 13-1. I have bet Eckroat at 200-1 with 8 places. Those are the only 2 official bets that I have in so far. The other ones that I'm looking at as we were talking this through, I brought them up here. Hideki at 55-1, Ben Ann at 40-1, Thigala at 45-1, Fitzpatrick at 40-1, Bhatia at 65-1. So those are 5 guys that I really have my eye on this week. If I'm guessing, what I end up doing is probably like Thigala and Hideki. I'm guessing that's what I'll end up doing. But I only have so much money to play with because I've gone to the very top of the board, which is unlike what I normally do.
All right, good stuff. I have those futures, so I have Minwoo 80, Thigala 65. And from there, I think I'm betting Fitz at 40. And it's I'm gonna look at that Sung J M, Tom Kim, Cameron Young, Hideki. Sort of mentioned, like, this is sort of where I think I'm going to live this week. I love JT. I think it sets up perfectly for JT. I had the last pick in a fantasy draft that I did this year. I had to take JT, which now seems fine, but I was so unhappy. But I feel like I got to play to that ceiling and hope last year was the total outlier. Kind of looks like it might be. I love it. Everyone's on it from what I've seen from my internet friends this morning. So if it cashes, y'all get to be rich before the Super Bowl. And I'll be happy for you, but I'll be huffing one down outside like Ben Affleck. Like, what the fuck, man? But I love it. I could see why everyone wants to bet it. But I mentioned the zone that I think I'm in.
One and done picks for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Tim has decided to take Jordan Spieth as his one and done. I won last week, almost catching up to you because Patrick Cantlay had a pretty good week. I will take Justin Thomas this week as my one and done. You?
Who did I?
You had Homa. No, you had Spieth last week, who had made $70,000.
No, I thought I had Day.
No, you had Day the week before, and he had $0.
Oh, it's all a fucking blur. Go away for a couple days. It's all a blur. Who am I gonna take? I'm gonna take Hideki Matsuyama, Magic.
Get back on the Hideki train. Well, because you've taken him as your one and done, and I might need to bet him now. So we can share in those winnings together. We'll see what I end up doing.
Yeah, like he could miss the cut. He could just be horrible. But I'm thinking I get some early week Juju and then happy place Hideki. Didn't he? The Sunday at Torrey Pines is electric, obviously. So I'd rather bet Hideki than Ricky. Not to say you can't bet both if that's what you want to do, but and not to say you have to bet either of them. I don't even know why that has to be a thing. But I'm betting Hideki.
The Min Woo thing plays itself out well. He was 5th at the U.S. Open. He was 6th at the Players' Championship. So he's been in the running in those two. He should be in the running for this one again. So I hope you do cash your 80 to 1. That'd be really nice. I mean, I hope that I hit my bets. But if I don't hit my bets, I hope your Min Woo thing comes through. I might do a live chat on Wednesday this week during the afternoon. If people want to tune into that, I'll have more details tomorrow on the show with Tambo as we go through all of the DraftKings pricing. You had your hand up?
Yeah, I was hoping I could find. I'm just trying to go to a live odd, but I didn't have it up. I think I'm going to bet Bryson, and I'm going to find another guy who I don't think has friends. Kevin Nye, I think, likes the casinos, but he's a local. But I feel like a local would be turned off by the scene this week.
I mean, I would think
So
that
he's
almost
another one.
everyone would be turned off by the scene this week. It sounds horrible. For me.
Yes, but I guarantee you, like your DJ ain't turned off by the scene.
No, I did see that DJ and Paul, my worlds are really colliding. DJ and Paulina were hanging out with Craig from Southern Charm. So like my reality TV world and my golf world are now intertwined in Charleston. So I very much enjoy that.
I don't know much about this Southern Charm, but I imagine DJ and Paulina would fit in well with those characters.
They most certainly would. Bryson is 16 to 1 in Vegas.
It's a pick for me.
There we are. Maybe I'll tell you on that one too. That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Do I have the Listeners League? No, I do not. I do not have the Listeners League as of yet. I'll add it to the video once that is available. Once again, fantasynational.com/Mayo to get yourself 20% off. Use that one and done planner. It also works for best ball drafts, season long, or if you just want to get a gauge of where players are playing throughout the course of the year. The updated tools, everything's so fast these days. And I put up a new video on, or I sent it to Moose, that Moose can put it up if you're having problems with your models, where to find them, how to pin them. It's like a 2-minute video just to explain everything to you if you're having issues with that. Most people aren't. Some people are. Yeah, just watch the video. It'll clear everything up for you right away. fantasynational.com/Mayo. Smash the like, sub to the channel while you are here. I want to thank you all for watching. Let's get some winners in this week. Jeff and I will be back with Cust for Super Bowl picks on Tuesday night. Until then, I'll see you next time.
Mayo experience. Experience.